All right, everybody out in Vinyl Land, we're coming to you live. I'm in Los Angeles, and I've got the two gentlemen here, the co-founders of TinyVinyl. It's Jesse and Neil. Welcome. Thanks for joining us, guys.
How's it going?
Thanks for having us, Greg.
You're welcome. It's going okay. I first heard about TinyVinyl around Christmas, and I saw it at Target, and I thought, what the heck? What the heck is this thing? What is it? Why does it exist? Those are the questions we're going to get into. But I do want to eventually talk about this from the consumer's point of view, but also the artist and label's point of view. And they were nice enough to send me a handful of these vinyls, and I opened them up. And of course, my wife said, "Those are so cute. Those are the cutest little things I've ever seen." So let's get into the origin story. Yeah, luckily women like cute small things, but works okay for me in my case. So let's just figure out why we invented this. Who invented this? What's the origin story behind TinyVinyl? Who wants to go?
That's Neil.
I'll go. It's Jesse and I are the co-founders of TinyVinyl, and the origin story of TinyVinyl is that we live in Nashville, which is pretty heavy music leaning city, and there's a record pressing plant in Nashville that opened recently, and it occurred to me, I'm in the toy business, my other life is in the toy industry, and I noticed a trend in the toy industry where everything that was like super hot in toys was just smaller versions of real life things. So it was this kind of a minimization, or as you mentioned in our pre-chat, a lot of people are really interested in things that are smaller for some reason. And it's kind of a curiosity, collectibles and so on. So anyway, there's a new record pressing plant in Nashville, and I got to know the founder, and Jesse and I have known each other for a while. And the three of us put our heads together and said, how small can you make a regular record that will play still on a 33 1/3 turntable? And the team at GZ Media, which at the time Jesse and I were sort of like, well, I guess these guys know what they're doing, but we found that they're absolutely the world leaders in vinyl research and development, and they're the largest manufacturer of pressed vinyl in the world. They're out of Czechia. Anyway, so the GZ Media guys took some time, and the engineers finally figured out how to make a vinyl that would play on a 33 1/3 turntable that was as small as they could make it, and the grooves and needed to track, etc. And that was 10 centimeters, or what's the equivalent of 4 inches. And
one of our we're already getting online comments, which is good. 4 inches? Yes, the answer is 4 inches.
Right. Confirmed.
Not 12, not 10. 4-ish inches.
Yeah, so anyway, it's 4 inches. And the when we did it, we were thinking we would partner with one of my other clients in life is a company called Funko. They make the Funko Pops and a bunch of collectible vinyl. And we thought, we could make TinyVinyl something that fits inside a Funko box, which is another factor that drove the original dimension being 4 inches. And GZ confirmed that they could do that, and they got the grooves right, and it played. And when Jesse and I got our first samples, we're like, wow, this is really cool. Like, just by itself, it's really, really cool. We don't need to put this in a Pink Floyd Funko Pop box. We could probably make a product out of this. And
do you know the Funko distributing guys who are out here in LA County?
I know the Funko founder and the Funko CEOs. I've known that company for 20 years, but no, I don't know the LA distribution team.
I think they have a big warehouse, and I work with them on some insurance thing. Anyway, tangent. So you're not really putting them into the Funko boxes per se.
Not at all. In fact,
but you could if somebody comes along and wants to stick it in their small box.
Yeah, I mean, what was initially, I guess, conceived of as a component maybe of a Funko Pop, when Jesse and I saw it. I mean, Jesse, you could tell the story from here. I mean, it was like, this is cool, like by itself.
brought it to a couple of managers here in Nashville, and one of the managers is a guy called Dawson Morris, and has had a nice long storied career. And he has an artist named Daniel Donato here in Nashville, and Daniel was doing an in-store at Grimey's. And I showed it to Daniel, and he's like, "That's one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Can I be one of the early ones on it?" I said, "Absolutely." He owns his own masters, and Greg, you probably know this. To press vinyl, the intellectual property rights need to be very clear because you're creating a permanent physical format. So I asked Daniel, I'm like, "Can we borrow 2 tracks for testing?" He's like, "Absolutely, no problem." So we sent that over to the team at GZ and Czechia, and all right, yeah, Grimey's does rule, Chris.
And we know Grimey's from their TV show too.
There you go.
Grimey's is awesome.
Grimey's is now world famous.
And then we sent it over to them, and I think a couple months later, they sent us a playable demo, and that was a moment for sure. And then we put some art together, made a gatefold and an inner sleeve, and kind of put it all together. And then we had basically the first TinyVinyl 0001. It's a Daniel Donato 2-track. We gave Daniel a couple hundred of them to take out on tour. And as soon as they hit the merch table, it was a very exciting moment for him and for us. He started putting out about 10 or so per night because he wanted to save them for future tour stops that he was doing. So that was kind of the beta test.
I don't think everybody knows Daniel Donato is like the premier Telecaster country twangy guitar player on the scene, and I've been watching his stuff. I'm also I'm a terrible guitar player, but I've been aware of him, and he's an amazing guitar player. So that was
Cosmic Country.
Questions I was gonna I get to cross it off my list. How did you get it attached to Daniel Donato? And so the Grimey's origin stories.
He's the best. Answer. Yep. So he was 0001, 0002 came through a guy called Don Van Cleve, who's another manager here in Nashville. Has worked with bands his whole life. And his current project, and he's been with them for a while now, is Rainbow Kitten Surprise. Don started a bunch of record stores all over the South and was tied into the origination of Record Store Day. He saw the TinyVinyl. He's like, "This is amazing." I remember, being at his house, and he's got quite the listening setup. And I saw him put it on top of his, 12-inch that was playing. He's like, "Let me see if I can get you a couple tracks." So, he put that together. Don even did some of the photography for 0002. And that was the second one that we did. And Rainbow Kitten Surprise used that for surprise and delight for their fans.
Did either of you have a music business background before coming to this? I heard toys and tech, maybe.
Yeah, I went tech, basically broadcasting at HBO and CBS, and then into Yahoo. And then I was super lucky to have friends that were concert promoters in New York when I lived there, and became eventually the COO, general manager of a promotion company called The Bowery Presents. Went to a couple different promoters over about a 15, 16-year period. Ended with Live Nation, AC Entertainment here in Nashville. So on the live side, yes. I think my first real recorded music knowledge came through Leadership Music Nashville. And that was basically a half-year-long project where they work you through, here's the recording side of things, publishing, media, live. So kind of got a deeper understanding than just the live business.
So you have some knowledge of, because this is all about distribution eventually.
Yeah.
So your first or your biggest or maybe your only deal is with Target, right? And you got in there, I guess, just before Christmas?
That's right.
Not the first though.
Well, besides Grimey's, maybe are there other major retailers or major
Urban Outfitters? Urban Outfitters actually carried the very first retail TinyVinyl, which was a Lindsey Sterling collaboration, and had a Sabrina Carpenter B-side. And that item, unbeknownst to Jesse and I, Concord Music Group here in Nashville found out about TinyVinyl through the work that we were doing in some of our mutual contacts, and they said, we'd like to try it as what was Lindsay going to do with it originally, Jesse? It was going to be like a fan gift bag.
And her VIP ticket gift bags.
Right.
And she did.
And she
Seems
did.
like a good
and
match for Urban Outfitters because they're appealing to the younger kids, and they,
Yeah,
unlike me,
for sure.
and the they've sold tons of entry level turntables and
Yeah,
pop music. So
that's
uh,
exactly right. Well,
so Urban Outfitters, good place.
they saw it through Concord, because Concord was doing this Lindsey Sterling kind of VIP experience thing with Tiny Vinyl, and
I think of Concord as a
it,
jazz label.
yeah,
It
Are they
is.
more than jazz?
no,
No, they've got,
they've
yeah,
got quite a
wide.
portfolio.
Okay,
Yeah,
well, I'm a
yeah,
jazz.
it's a very, very big catalog at
Mhm.
Concord.
Yeah, one
Ghost
of
is
our,
from
I was about to say,
Concord. Yeah,
one of our best sellers is at Target is Ghost, and that's a Concord act. But they've got Government Mule and the rights to Fantasy Records, which is what you were holding there with Charlie Brown. And we've done 2 different Charlie Brown releases. Lindsey Sterling. Concord is coming back with a whole new fun assortment that we can't tell you about in 2026. So they've been a wonderful partner.
Give me a sneak
Yeah.
preview.
So when
this is such a great record, and I'm going to blow you here. This may be the most important jazz record in America. Kind of Blue is great, but there's
Yeah.
millions of Americans who only hear this. This is the only jazz they hear all year.
that's
Yeah.
right,
It's the absolute perfect
Vince
stuff.
Guaraldi, it's incredible. You're
Yeah.
absolutely right.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't know that Concord was going to sell them. That's right. That's
Chris
right.
Forsman,
Victory
go for it.
I don't know what Victory Records is, but you'll tell me.
We got a call from the Concord team, and they said, "Hey, listen, we put some in Urban Outfitters. Is that okay?" And we're like, "It's your record. Do whatever you want with it." And we knew that Target was interested at that point, but it didn't occur to us that that was going to be a conflict. And Urban Outfitters put them up on their web store, for a day. And sold out. And the Concord team called us and said, "Listen, we need a lot more Tiny Vinyl for Urban Outfitters." And I think that gave Jesse and I a lot of confidence that we had maybe something kind of cool here that we could go broader with and really lean into. So that inspired us to make the push, the really hard push to get the major labels, Universal, Warner, Sony, and the other big guys involved with a Target program.
So do you have all 3 involved in one form or another?
Yeah, they're
Yes.
all deeply involved.
So I want to change it a little bit from the music artist point of view. You are acting as, tell me if I'm wrong, you're not just acting as, hey, we're going to press these for you and you can go sell them however you want, or you're licensing their music and you're selling them, if you want to get that deep into it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. What the artist can experience with Tiny Vinyl is if we do a Tiny Vinyl together, the artist will provide us with art for the jackets and sleeves and the center labels, and then also the audio tracks. Typically, the label will do whatever distribution or promotion out into the market, or the manager, in this case of a smaller artist, might do that. And it's up to the artist to determine where they want to sell it, on their tour merch table or in some retail format, or in the case of the major distribution relationship with Target, Universal Music will go to one of its labels like Republic or Interscope and say, "We want to do a Target Tiny Vinyl. What artists do you want to put together with us?" And that's essentially how Warner, Sony, and Universal assembled the program that Target ended up selling. So that Chapel Roan, things as diverse as Charlie Brown from Concord and Chapel Roan and Gracie Abrams and others were all on the same fixture together. So it was showing an entire range of product. And the artist gets a royalty. And the great thing is it's a 2-song product. So it's not 12 or 14 songs, which is maybe in some cases better for the artist. But in our case, it's 2 songs and it's an impulse purchase. It's like an incremental, adorable extra purchase. It's not necessarily for the hardcore fan that's going to buy a CD and listen to it 150 times. It's for the fan who says, "I want to have everything that artist has ever done," or "I love that artist. I want to give this as a gift," or I love it and I'm going to play it myself, but it's really not meant to be the main medium to convey an artist's music.
Well,
You know,
it's
we are not,
different.
we're not standing on the audiophile basis of TinyVinyl, and we're very transparent about that.
And that's okay, because the music business was not built on audiophiles, and the singles business was not built on audiophiles. And I was going to ask you, how and why is this different? And one of the things you probably no one knows is these aren't even vinyl. These are some other softer thing that was designed for kids. Take it home and they listen to it, and the next week they listen to something else. But it's a different spot in the marketplace, and gift giving, I think, is
I think the 45 has got a great spot in the market. The 45 is nostalgic, and it's certainly representative of singles or jukeboxes.
Mm-hmm.
But it plays at 45 RPM, which means that you have to have something physically different on your turntable to play it, and a center hole that is not centered on a spindle. It's you need an insert for it. And so Jesse and I thought it would be so much more fun to have a record that was proportional to a 12-inch record, but was just smaller in every way, and everything else is proportional.
Won't play on, for example, one of my nicer turntables, a Rega, unless I take the platter off and do a screw around the belt, which I'm never going to do.
Nobody.
Okay, so when people talk about playability, okay, these also are not going to play on some of the automatics, like my vintage Techniques.
Yeah.
But those are owned by old guys. That's a 50-year-old machine, and your product is not designed for.
Here's a good stat that you probably know, Greg. 55% of people that purchase vinyl do not own a turntable.
Yeah.
That's sad and scary.
That's people in the streaming age. People love to purchase vinyl as a physical connection to an artist, where they've only had digital connections before. You're holding something that comes from an artist's vision, and it contains sound. It's multi-layered and dimensions. Versus streaming is like you're looking at your phone, or if you have Sonos or Blue Audio or whatever your medium might be. So it's a collectible first. It's adorable overall. And yes, it's playable on most manual turntables. And there's plenty of automatic turntables that we could list out that play it as long as you turn the auto stop feature off.
The new automatic turntables, like the Fluence, you just hit a button and it turns off the auto.
That's right.
Yeah. So we really love a couple of Victrolas that we really love and recommend often.
I think it's a great question that your audience member is asking about a TinyVinyl jukebox, and we watch this space, Chris. We've got ideas, and there'll be things coming in the second half of this year that are going to be TinyVinyl electronics specific.
Somebody's going to 3D print one, and then all they have to do is find a manufacturer. And is this Chris guy a plant? I don't know. He seems to.
I don't know either.
We enjoy that he's our most.
He's got a professional headshot.
Engaging guy there. All right. So did Target have every title, or did they have a subset based on a relationship with a certain label?
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt you there, Greg.
That's fine.
They had a subset of the full TinyVinyl assortment. We have actually oriented, as Jesse mentioned, the idea of TinyVinyl around adorable and collectible, and every TinyVinyl is numbered on the spine. So if you have a collection like I do here, I can know sequentially if I'm missing a TinyVinyl, I'll know because I won't have the number of in sequence. And if I want that TinyVinyl, we post a catalog and a library of all the TinyVinyls that were ever made up on our website. So you can check and say, oh, wow, I didn't know that there were 2 different Lindsey Sterling releases.
Does that look like this at all?
Yeah, that's it.
It does indeed. Very much.
That's it. Yeah, so there's 0001 and kind of floating through.
I got to switch screens here to run this show here. Let's see. So there's 01 with Daniel Donato.
Correct.
Groups that I haven't heard of as an old guy.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're young. Blake Shelton I've heard of. And Spider Marquise. So how big is this total catalog now?
I think we're making TV0113 now, Jesse.
Either 113 or 114 is what we're up to. We've saved a couple of numbers, that Neil and I just sort of have an affinity for. That if an artist, that obviously any artist can have any number that they want, but there's a couple that you'll see that either are held or there's a reason why they're not filled. But as you're going through it, you'll see. That's one of my favorites, the Notorious B.I.G. Big E, on a small tiny. That one makes me laugh every time I hold it.
Notorious Small, I get it. It's a joke.
So heavy metal. So there's some heavy metal. You'll see there's a second Lindsey Sterling, Greg. There's TV0007 and TV0052 are both Lindsey Sterling tiny vinyls, both with the same tracks. Everything about them is identical except for one thing, which is that the vinyl color is different from the 0007 to the. It's a variant, and as a collector, that matters a lot. So if there's anything remotely different from one edition to the next, we assign a new tiny vinyl number to it, a new TV number, so that the collector can really know if they've got everything.
And that's a Christmas title.
That is a holiday music title.
Carol of the Bells. I'm sorry, holiday title, as we say.
It is.
Yeah,
we had a couple of others.
Bigger than I realized. I never scrolled through this entire thing, and we're still scrolling. You probably have a lot in the works now that you may or may not be able to discuss yet, but
we do have a lot in the works, and there's the concentration of our energy this year. I mean, Jesse's got a tremendous Rolodex of music industry partners that we've been able to link up with thanks to his former relationships. Our promotion team they're amazing, and we're getting great traction in the media because it's such an interesting idea, and people love vinyl. But we have only focused our energy on selling in the U.S. so far. That's been the first 18 months of Tiny Vinyl's existence. And in 2026, we are going to expand. We've hired a European leader to get Tiny Vinyl up on its feet in Europe. And we're getting an amazing response from the European market as well. And we also have a partnership with a Korean pop music promoter called Hello 82. They run a handful of very big K-pop bands. There you go.
That's K-pop, I guess.
That's K-pop right there.
That's a universal release. The artist is called Twice.
Greg doesn't know from K-pop, but I see
K-pop, Demon Hunters, Twice,
Cat's Eye,
and we've got a bunch of other K-pop coming because it's been a great genre for us, and it's the right audience, it's the right idea, and that market is actually, it's very interesting. That's correct. Yeah, Chris, you're right about that one.
What does he mean by UO?
Urban Outfitters.
Urban Outfitters. See.
Yeah. So anyway,
an artist come to you, is it without a huge label, and just say, "I really want X hundred or X thousand of these," and
happens all the time
for me.
Every day,
selling them on their own websites and their own merch tables and stuff. So that's
Greg, we're a canvas, right? Our goal is to be a manufacturer and a canvas and a platform so that any artists have the hardest job. They have to create something from nothing and convince people that it's good to have a career, right? So if there's anything that we can possibly do to help them, have their career, come up with a new item, we want to do that. So it's really any artist that is interested and owns the rights with their label or themselves to put something together. We would love to work with them. It goes without saying.
Great, because getting into vinyl, hopefully this is less expensive for an artist than to get into a 12-inch vinyl, because there's some artists that are sort of left behind. Hey, I can put out CDs, I can do Bandcamp, but especially like small jazz artists, I can't do a 12-inch. It's cost prohibitive. So I think that We can come in with a lower entry cost for an artist.
It's what we did was two things to address that, Greg. Because of my history in the toy industry, when I got the first exposure to vinyl pricing from the manufacturer to me, Jesse and I, our heads were spinning because we're like, wait a minute, you need there's 8 layers of stuff that we don't understand that has an individual 0.00753 cents per vinyl price to it.
Mm-hmm.
And Jesse and I were like, if I had to quote TinyVinyl to a client, we're going to keep it simple. So one of the things we did was we took everything behind us, which is what kind of vinyl is it going to be, what kind of jackets are going to be, how much 4-color ink are we going to use, all that stuff. And we just said, we're going to eat the complexity and we're going to make it easy for the artist to have one price. No matter how many they buy, they could buy 2 million or 2,000 and it's the same unit price. So it's easy for the artist. It's not complicated. They don't have to have a chemistry degree to buy vinyl. and we found that to be even the biggest labels, like even Universal, said that is really helpful. Thank you. Which we were surprised.
Yeah, user friendliness is something a lot of people miss on whatever they're selling. In my industry, financial insurance, it's like you made this so complicated. People just walk away going, "I can't make a decision." So I commend you for realizing that that's part of the equation.
The other thing that's part of the equation for the artist, Greg, is that they also oftentimes have to deal with mastering costs, the costs of plates that press the vinyl. So there's a fixture-oriented cost that is like black magic. I mean, who knows what that stuff is? And so we said, we're just going to make it an easy, simple, straightforward. If it costs us $50,000 to make your vinyl, that's on me. If it costs me $500, it's on me. We're just going to sell it to you at this price. And
well, that makes sense.
They like it.
From the artist's point of view, and then they can take it to their merch tables and sell it for, I guess they can sell it for whatever they want. You're not demanding a certain price point.
Nope.
And if they want to give it away or send it out as demos or whatever. You mentioned something about chemistry degree, because I know everyone loves talking about chemistry. You guys are using a different type of vinyl. I forgot the name of it, but it's the sustainable something plant-based.
Bio vinyl.
Bio vinyl.
Yeah.
Hadn't heard of it until I saw it on your guys' website. What is it? Is it more expensive? Is it better? What do you know about it?
It's better. Yeah, it's better and more sustainable technically, just because of the smaller amount that you're using compared to a 12-inch record, right? A 12-inch 180-gram record versus a 4-inch TinyVinyl just uses less.
You, by the way.
Ooh, that's a good question. I'd have to look on our website to see.
200 grams. Everyone's into the grams. I don't. Really
a 12-inch vinyl is about 180 grams. I think our record's weigh all in about 70 grams.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, 70.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so it's both in terms of the amount of compound, right, that's used, as well as the type of compound. And ours comes from I don't know the exact term. I can't remember it offhand, but from bioattributed, right, versus completely new compounds that are pet.
It's basically plant vinyl as opposed to other petroleum-based vinyl, and it does cost us more, but it's not a cost that we pass on. We absorb that cost. We feel we're committed to trying to make as much of a sustainable product as we can, and there's incremental cost to us, but no incremental cost to the artist or the consumer.
Was that something that record plant was already in the habit of using versus you went out and said, we got to have bio vinyl?
No, our partner brought the idea to us. And
it was an option.
Yeah, it was an option, and we decided to make it unilateral for all TinyVinyl. So it wasn't even a choice. It was that's how you make TinyVinyl.
It's built in, which is cool. That's another feather in your cap there. And people do not realize how toxic the making of regular vinyl is. You could do a whole video on that, which I've done in the past, but it's plastic, but effective bioplastic is pretty cool.
I will, in the defense of the vinyl manufacturing industry, and certainly my exposure to it, there is zero waste. They
Mhm.
harvest every single thread of vinyl that gets trimmed off of another piece of vinyl, off of a finished record. And if
Right,
there's
right.
a thread of
Cut
vinyl
off the
that's been,
sides and that
yeah,
little
whatever, they
sharpening on the
capture
edge.
it all and just push it back into the melting machine, and it just gets reused. It's remarkable for me to see it, and it's obviously efficient for them and saves waste and also saves money because they're using the vinyl all the way through.
A lot of the vinyl that's been coming out in the last, decade from the revival is old pressing machinery that's very manually operated and even maybe dangerous. Is this plant doing anything that's more automated? Is somebody literally sitting there and going, 1, 2, 3, 4? I don't know. You've probably seen the
It is.
process up close.
We have, and it's. We're not going to reveal a whole lot about it, but I would say that it is highly automated, impressively automated. For me to see the way TinyVinyl is made, it's miraculous to me. But it's to them, it's sort of like, yeah, this is how we do it. So it's very automated.
Question from our viewers here. You probably are doing these already.
I could take that one. I find myself saying that sounds great a lot. Of course, we would love to do a record store day special release. That falls into the rights and the goal of an artist and the label. I have. It's a little hard if you're coming from sort of the promotional background to step back and what we get to market. Luckily, is our platform, TinyVinyl. But we are accretive to an artist's goals or a label's goals in terms of whatever they want to do. So from a record store day special release, of course, we would love to. And it goes without saying, if we get the opportunity, we're going to do it.
Would you ever? That's an open question.
Yeah. Would you ever?
Would.
The answer is yes. That sounds great.
Someday. I think we're kind of reaching the end of our time frame here, guys. If there's any other topics that I have missed, let me check my notes here. I think we've hit all of the things that I had listed. I guess I'll leave it with an open-ended question. Is there anything? What's next? Anything up and coming, new and exciting that you want to leave us with?
Yeah, I think that
yes.
I will tell you that if you go to Target after August 1st, you can expect to see an expanded TinyVinyl offering and an expanded TinyVinyl section. Don't
wait till August 1st, though.
You don't have to wait. You can get all the TinyVinyls on the shelf at Target and Urban Outfitters and a couple of other. We're bringing other retailers on. We'll have other distribution partners. But I think our hope is to make TinyVinyl much more of a. I'm going to make a TinyVinyl part of the offering for the artists. And when they think about what they're going to do with that product, oh yeah, I'll make a 12-inch, I'll make a CD, I'll make a TinyVinyl, I'll make whatever, a cassette tape or a 7-inch, 45, whatever. We just want it to be more ubiquitous. You can expect some new colors, and that's happening. And I think our goal is to have, the TV number be in the threes, TV 0300 by the end of the year.
That's excellent. You aren't selling these direct to consumer on your website, are you? I don't know.
No.
It's through regular retail distribution or band's own stuff.
Or the artist's website.
You're not competing with people in that sense. So that's also.
We are not.
We are truly a manufacturer and there to help. We release, as you showed and you scrolled down, what the images look like in our catalog, our Instagram, which is TinyVinyl Records. We do our library there as well. And something that's important when you see it online is the frame of reference, right? It looks like a regular 12-inch vinyl in some cases if you don't have a frame of reference. And on Instagram, all of the ones that we put up, it might have a car key or a lipstick or eyeglasses or something that we try to sort of have fun with in terms of what track is being released so that you can see that it's actually a 4-inch record compared to the size of whatever the reference image is there. So we put those up all the time.
Last question. Oh, no.
Okay.
Yeah, another question.
Splatter, marble. Yeah.
Yeah. Any treatment, Chris, that is available in the 12-inch vinyl market, we can do, and we probably will do, but it's a question of when we do it. And I would leave you with this idea that may be unique, Greg, I don't know, but any artist who watches this podcast or anybody who hears about Tiny Vinyl can make Tiny Vinyl. And when they do, the benefit to our largest label partners and our smallest first time making a physical product artists is they'll be on the same playing field from our standpoint as Chappell Roan or Lindsey Sterling or the Rolling Stones or Black Sabbath or these iconic names. And then you'll get, names you might not have heard of that are right there on the same exact platform. That's one thing. And the second thing is we have a full-time PR team.
Mm-hmm.
We have a full-time PR team who is promoting every single Tiny Vinyl release. So we are dedicated to commit to making the platform interesting for artists. That never happens with a CD or a 12-inch vinyl. The manufacturing partner doesn't do anything to promote it.
I get it. So I threw a page on your website, which is really for artists who want to consider getting involved with you guys, all kinds of technical specs, details. How does it work? How do we get involved? So if you're an artist out there, you know where to go and learn more and start the dialogue.
Click that contact us button or send us a note.
And you'll be in contact with one of these dudes, probably.
Probably.
That's right. There's us. We are Tiny Vinyl.
The whole company, all two plus.
Well, we've got a handful of other people.
I'm sure
we got some really special people that we're honored to work with.
But you're accessible, is my point.
Yeah, we are accessible.
You're not in the ivory tower over there.
No,
definitely not.
It's not. That's not in our future.
But someday.
It's a tiny tower, Greg.
We're delighted to. This has kind of snuck up on me and Jesse. I think we both had other gigs and we're fully employed. We're doing it as a part-time idea, and it's just gotten wings, and it's been fun. It's been really fun.
It's doing well. You're selling.
Yeah, we're selling. We're going to sell
more than you expected. That's
a
great.
lot more than we expected, and a lot more than anybody I think expected. Including when I first showed it to the Target guys, they're like, "This is really, really cool," and they said, "If we do really well, we'll do this number," which was a high number, I thought, and we've done nearly double that, which was like so exciting. Wow, people really like this idea. So hopefully it has, hopefully in 10 years, we'll come back and do a round 2 interview with you, Greg, when we're in the tiny tower then.
Before you sell off to the private equities for billions and billions when you retire. But that's a few years off.
Yeah. No.
Tiny Vinyl will never be $1 billion idea. But that's okay. It's going to be fun.
We'll
$1 billion concept for sure.
No, it is.
Yeah.
Now it's hard to intellectual property protect this if somebody wants to come out with slightly not as tiny vinyl for 5 inches. But you're already there. You've already started the roll.
You'd be surprised how many domain names we own, Greg. But yes, that is absolutely the case.
Jesse, I saw you taking notes to make sure we get notsotiny.com and notsotinyvinyl.com.
Absolutely.
Make them all point to the main one, and you're good.
I mean,
kind of Tiny Vinyl.
As they say, when somebody copies you, it's like this. It's very sincere flattery, right? Because it's a good idea, and so we expect there to be other people who want to offer 4-inch vinyl, and maybe they will, maybe they won't. We've got a pretty good mousetrap and a fantastic partnership in promotion and in manufacturing with GZ and Czechia, and also in retail. So
you've already established a good footprint. It's hard to jump on it.
Yeah, people will do it. They'll try it, and that's flattering, right? And I hope I wish them all great success. The 4-inch format in vinyl is fun and cool and working.
It looks like it's here to stay, at least after the first year or so. Okay, guys, great. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Greg.
Greg, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
It's a real honor to be here.
Or Target. I'm going to end the stream. And here we go. Thanks, guys.